for the correspondent. Someone, and I'd sent it to the Secretary of Lions, whoever that happens to be, someone has taken it and used it. It's great for the town that they'll have something, and I don't want Donna Peters Park, but you could have come back, treat me like a mushroom.
Yeah.
The courtesy to say, that's great, and we couldn't do, we didn't know at the time, but it was like it could have easily been the long weekend. And so then I went out and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I thought, bugger it, I'm not going to stand, I'm not...
Make the connection for me between what happened then and your decision not to run, because that's quite specific, and it could have gone through, it could have, reaffirmed your resolve to run, or, just interested in that.
Whatever I'd put on Facebook, I'd say something on Facebook and they would do it. Or Paul Devery's attitude to say, that's none of your business. In fact, when I had that second meeting with him, I was talking to him about the airport. He's so anti my idea about the airport, so anti. And so the president of Lions, when I was talking to him, he said, I can help you with your thing, because he used to work at the council, he used to be the deputy general manager. He said, I can help you with the airport. There are documents there. When you see Paul Devery next, ask him, because I helped draw them up, and they're there. So I spoke to Paul Devery, and I said, I won't say that you've said it. And I said, I believe there's some documents here that I could have a look at about the airport. No, there are no documents. Because that day was really testy and really cranky. I thought, why would I do this? Why would I do this? So Bill West has been rude to me. This guy was quite rude to me. And I thought, why am I doing this? Why don't I I'm 64, and I'm still working, but why don't I just get in my van and travel? Why am I doing this when there's 90% of the town don't know, because they're so trained to know that council can't do anything for them, and that's why I'm so keen on bringing all the services back to basic. Or I've got to work with the likes of Ruth, who's got no scruples, or Bruce, who they're like rude in the meeting, and they would pick on me for sure, or Paul Devery, who was quite rude to me that day, and then there's the cock and balls, and there's, I put something up, and what you're doing is you're doing it so when it comes to my platform, I've got nothing left to say, is what they were thinking. So I decided, right, do you know what I'm going to do? You're stealing my stuff anyway. I contacted the Phoenix and said, can I buy the front page of your paper for the next 2 weeks? And so I got half out, and today...
Did that come out today?
It came out today.
Okay, I've got to pick up a copy.
Yeah, I've got last week's. I'll show you. I've got last week's in the car, because yesterday I went and got... a friend works at the Japanese Gardens.
Yeah, no, I picked one up from the Japanese Gardens. Yeah, I've got one. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah, I've got last week's, but not this week.
Okay, so it only came out today. So, and it's probably too much. So today, after this, I've contacted him and said, would you be willing to sell me the page for the next 2 weeks? Because then it's early voting and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. And that's my advertising. So it was that. So I thought, bugger it. You're going to steal what I've got anyway. I'm going to put it out there because I want the town to do it. I want a middle level bridge, because when the river floods, there's nothing crossing. You can't get emergency services, and they and ah and go, we can't get a high level bridge because there's nowhere to go. And there's not. Let's do a middle level bridge, or let's do the bus. I put in the Buskers Picnic so I could print that before they printed theirs.
Oh, yeah,
just so. People won't remember, but I would feel better, and so that's why I did that. So then there's all my things out there. You take what you like. I didn't say I wasn't standing. You take what you like. I just want them done. I'm not standing.
Yeah.
And then I even kept the perception going up till I've got a listening post every Thursday at one of the cafes, and I even went to my listening post last Thursday. Put in something cheeky. Yep.
So so in terms of the rudeness, that seems to be the main thing that's kind of it's the uncomfortableness. Tell me if I'm putting the wrong words in your mouth, because I'm just trying to make sure they understand. It's kind of the feeling of uncomfortableness and or discomfort and not wanting other people to be rude towards you. That working environment, you think it's not.
I've seen the Chamber. The Chamber is rude. The Chamber is rude to Peter Wright, and I would be on the same page as Peter Wright. So Peter Wright is the only one who asks questions or says no to anything. And everything else, in fact, I said to the General Manager in my first meeting, I would like to know who actually runs the council. Do the councillors run the council, or do the staff? Because what happens is the staff put all this stuff up in their agenda. The councillors don't read it. The mayor says, what about this? 4 against carried. And at times, he doesn't even look up, he just says 4 against carried. And
I've seen so many meetings like this across.
And Peter Wright is the only one. So then he gets, Even the former director of operations has been rude to him at times. And he's asked a question, not his question, quite a legitimate question, a question that I would ask. And one time there was a DA, some housing development, and he asked a question, and Ruth's gone, well, how would you know that? And he said, because when I went up there last week, the neighbour said to me, and see, that would be me. If it was a DA, I would go out to see what the DA was going to look like.
Yeah.
But it all just gets passed willy-nilly. And so working in the chamber, how could I, so my partner's at home, my partner's home on weekends, so he'll be home tomorrow, right? So the meeting's on a Monday. If I get treated like Peter Wright in the chamber on a Monday, I haven't got anyone to go home and download to or give me a cuddle.
Yeah.
I've got to wait till Thursday for that.
Yeah. No, that's really tough, actually. It's really tough being away from your partner. I often have to do field work in, especially if I'm in India or Indonesia, and then I've had a really tough day, and there's nobody there, right? Like, you've got to Skype or, whatever.
And it's not the same. It's not the same.
You need a cuddle.
Yeah. Or if the meeting goes too late, he's in bed. At 6 o'clock the next morning, we can talk. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But if it was fair and even, I'd go home quite high.
Yeah.
Quite high, do a couple of things, download, go to sleep and wake up next morning and go, oh, that was awesome. But I can see myself getting treated the same way that Peter Wright gets treated. And I don't know how he keeps coming back from that. So there's a lady that I've become friends with because she used to go to the council meetings from time to time, and I just met her there. And she said to me she doesn't know how Peter Wright comes back from it. Yeah. And he has a stutter. So they know if they push him more, he'll stutter more.
Oh, right. Wow, that's a bit... Nice.
Yeah, so I see that thing. So I looked up and thought, well, it'll be Peter Wright and myself, so everything's going to be defeated 7-2, 7-2. So in the meeting, what is this? In September's meeting, so this is the sort of things I don't like. The council voted to give away $16,000 just for that month. 2,000 of that was to go to the Masons for them to paint their doors and their foyer. Bill West and the big end of town are Masons.
Yeah,
I would have voted no. I would have voted no. I used to be in the Bushwalkers. The Bushwalkers were given nearly $1,000. The Bushwalkers, in a town of 10,000 people, they have 20 members. 5 of them want to do a first aid course, which came to $945, and the council said yes. I would have said no. There's some $16,000. Now, if you do that next month, at the meeting, because you can watch the meetings on YouTube, when Bill West doesn't want you to know anything, he mumbles.
Oh, it's so infuriating as a researcher, because I watch a lot of these online.
Yeah, but he can speak clearly if he wants to.
Yeah, right.
So at that meeting, he said, sitting back in his house, something about topping it up, but I couldn't really get it was, and they talk a bit of code too when you're watching. It wasn't until I saw the minutes the next day that it needs a top up, because they just spent $16,000, and it was shit. So if you've now set a precedent, if somebody wants a first aid course, what's to stop all of year 12 at St. Raph's School and the council? That's not what the money's for. And that $16,000 is somebody's septic tank on loan until they sell the property or die and pass it on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm there for.
So now, because there has to be at least some kind of change to this council, because 4 people are leaving. So hopefully there won't be a 7-2 split. Did that factor into your decision making to then decide to nominate?
Today?
Yep.
Today was Ruth wearing my colours.
Uh-huh.
No, you're not getting my votes.
Yeah.
You're not. I've got people asking me to give them a poster to put at my house. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's excellent.
And so, you're not getting my votes just because you're wearing orange.
Uh-huh.
I've done all this hard work. I couldn't, last night I was awake at midnight and I couldn't sleep after that. I think I put on meditation music about 2 o'clock. The night before I woke at 2 o'clock, couldn't sleep because, I wanted to make a difference to the town. And John said, look, you're making a difference. And he said, how good is that? She's wearing your colours. What a compliment. She's so scared of you that she's had to do your colours. She's so scared of you, she had to do your poster.
Yeah. I do think, though, that hopefully the council it won't be the kind of council that you are anticipating.
So it'll be Bill, definitely.
Yeah, Bill, definitely.
And it'll be Ian Docker, because he's president of Rotary.
Right.
And I've spoken to him twice, and it was to do with first time was just to say, hello, I see you're registered. The new candidates are going to have a photo session and a meet here if you want to come. No, I'm working. and it was a bit rude. And then the second time was to, and the others asked me to ring him, like Sharon and a couple others, Rebecca,